Imperfectly perfect. Animals with vitiligo and other fur-altering conditions. In the past, some people viewed vitiligo, a condition that affects skin pigment, as something to fear. The condition is nothing to be scared of though. It's beautiful. In modern days, even supermodels proudly display their vitiligo. Some people might be surprised to learn that this pigment-altering disease also affects many species in the animal world. It makes them all the more astounding. Check out this collection of some of the most amazing animals affected with vitiligo and other remarkable fur-affecting conditions. The adorable dog pictured here is affected by vitiligo. Scientists aren't entirely sure what causes the condition to occur, but it's seen in humans and many species of animals. Melanin-producing cells stop making melanin, which leaves white areas where there would ordinarily be color. Sometimes the condition can also cause fur to be lost in patches. This pup has spots of vitiligo on most of his body, with the exception of his snout and limbs. The butterfly on his head proves a splash of color. Rowdy became the most famous dog with vitiligo after his unique looks went viral a few years ago. This interesting-looking fellow was born a fully black lab who started showing the condition during the last few years of his life. His owners decided to put his good looks to use, and he met with many children to show them that their vitiligo was beautiful. The remarkable dog acted as a support animal for the kids, and his social media accounts brought many smiles to faces around the world. Rowdy passed away in June of 2017, but his owner has kept up his accounts to continue spreading vitiligo awareness. Scrappy the cat was originally a fully black color. His owner David first chose him from the litter because black cats have a tendency to be overlooked at rescue centers. Little did David know that Scrappy was in for quite an interesting destiny. When Scrappy was around 7 years old, her coat started to change dramatically. It turns out she had vitiligo. Her once black coat turned into an amazing array of marbled black and white, making her quite the amazing sight. Despite her condition, Scrappy was able to reach the grand old age of 19 years old and has left a legacy behind with her very own children's book. Vitiligo has appeared in many different animals. In this case, it appeared in a magnificent puma. This particular puma was in captivity in a zoo. However, there have been cases of vitiligo also documented in the wild. It's interesting that although humans sometimes judge others for this interesting skin condition, animals don't. Leave it to animals to accept one another no matter their appearance. It's just one more thing animals do better than humans. This adorable dog is a Dachshund with vitiligo. While there's a type of Dachshund called a dapple, where the fur contains an array of spots, this particular pup's coloring is a result of vitiligo. Interestingly, the condition only seems to affect the black parts of her fur. All of her black spots have turned white, leaving behind only patches of brown. Her unique coloring is really amazing to look at, and even though it's called a skin disease, we think it's beautiful. This unique coloring makes her even more adorable than she already was. Tibetan Mastiffs are known to be quite majestic dogs and are known to be excellent guardian dogs. They're a popular breed in China and originate from the area. In China, they even have a name for this breed of a dog with vitiligo. They call them ghost mastiffs. With a mane similar to a lion's, it's hard not to notice this amazing breed. These dogs are also quite large and often weigh over 100 pounds. If you didn't know any better and you stumbled across the dog in the photo, you might think you were looking at some kind of bear. But don't worry, this kind of mastiff is known to be territorial but rather docile, especially with their families. Greyhounds are magnificent dogs who are sometimes forced into racing at a young age because of their amazing speed. To make matters worse, when the dogs are retired, they're sometimes put down. Luckily, there are now a bunch of rescues who work directly with greyhounds. In their older ages, some greyhounds carry a gene which begins to cause their fur to become spotted or dappled. Many people think that this is some kind of form of vitiligo. Whatever the case may be, greyhounds are some of the sweetest dogs around. Have you ever seen a more interesting feline face than this one? This is a Chimera Cat. She appears to be half tabby and half black cat, and the colors are split perfectly down the center of her face. She also has 2 differently colored eyes. According to National Geographic, in mythology, a chimera is a mishmash monster made up of parts of different animals. A feline chimera is a cat whose embryos fuse together. Apparently, cat chimeras are more common than one would think. Regardless of the cause of this amazing kitty's coloring, she's among the most beautiful cats we've ever seen. This is Xander, a German Shepherd with vitiligo. Xander was originally a black German Shepherd before developing vitiligo in his older age. Much like humans, Xander's vitiligo affected his face as well as other patches on his extremities. German Shepherds are known to be an extremely loyal breed and are often used as military or police dogs. This particular doggo didn't work for a living and instead got to be a beloved family pet. It's nice to report that this family loved their dog even more when he developed his interesting new coloring. Duke is a Rottweiler who first came to the attention of the internet after he popped up on an adoption site in the UK. The 8-year-old dog was looking for his forever home, and his unique look soon garnered him many admirers around the world. Unfortunately, poor Duke suffers from another skin condition which is marked by occasional painful flare-ups. However, despite the pain, this good boy doesn't let his condition get him down. Duke was originally posted in January of 2018, and we certainly hope he found his forever home. This interesting-looking feline is known as Panda Cat due to her distinct markings. She originally found a new friend who spread her photos around the web after she showed up at his car door as though she were waiting for him. Despite being called Panda Cat, her markings are actually that of an inverted panda, which is not so common. Panda Cat lives at a veterinary farm in the UK and visits each car that pulls up in order to greet the driver. Although Panda Cat looks quite remarkable, she loves to engage in typical kitty behaviors, such as napping and more napping. Pinkie's a Louisiana bottlenose dolphin who got his name from his trademark look. He was first spotted in 2007 and is most likely an albino. If you get close enough, you'd also be able to see that Pinkie has reddish eyes and blood vessels. This is a sign of albinism when the skin and other membranes are essentially devoid of color. Albinism can sometimes cause issues with vision. It can also present problems for animals in the wild because without melanin their skin is less protected. Pinkie has been spotted by humans regularly for the past 8 years, so it seems as though he's doing just fine. This baby deer looks as though it might suffer from vitiligo, but it actually has piebaldism. Piebald deer are quite common in the wild, and unlike vitiligo, piebaldism is a genetic trait. It's present since birth, hence this little guy's adorable coloring. Piebaldism is often passed from generation to generation. Another telltale sign of piebaldism is that affected animals often have a white diamond on their foreheads. Though this little guy was born with a special genetic trait, he's still one of the most adorable on our list. While there have been multiple documented instances of snakes with albinism, this boa constrictor with piebaldism is quite remarkable. Snakes often have unique skins with different patches of color. This particular boa has large patches of white throughout its scales where there's a lack of pigment. Piebaldism is a condition that's present from birth, unlike vitiligo, which appears over time. This snake is certainly one remarkable creature, and we can't help but wonder what he looks like after he sheds his skin. This leopard is described as having a cobwebbed pattern on its fur. Despite looking as though it has a dappled coat, this is actually the result of vitiligo. The pattern of white spots looks almost like snow has fallen and settled on her body. It's hard to imagine this was once a solid black leopard. This particular one's in captivity. Vitiligo is a condition that you don't often see in leopards, whether in the wild or zoos. The expression on the leopard's face is probably the best thing about this photo. We can't help but notice that she doesn't look too happy to have her picture taken. What do you think? Penguins and their adorable wattles are some of the cutest animals to watch in the wild. While penguins are sometimes known to have a white patch on their bellies, this penguin has vitiligo. Like other animals affected by the disorder, dark areas of pigmentation are now beginning to lighten, creating a dappled effect. It'll be interesting to monitor this little guy over the years and see if he turns entirely white. One thing's for sure, this penguin seems to be awfully proud of his newfound colors, at least if his proud stance is any kind of sign. Snowflake is another famous entry on the list. He gained his fame because of his remarkable trait of albinism, hence his name. Snowflake was a western lowland gorilla who lived at the zoo in Barcelona, Spain. Remarkably, the rest of Snowflake's group were all normal coloring. Snowflake was the father of 22 offspring. Interestingly, none of them inherited albinism. The trait is recessive and must be passed by both the mother and the father, and he lived a happy life up to the age of 39. This gorgeous animal is known as a golden zebra. Golden zebras actually have albinism. Interestingly here, instead of removing the pigment completely, albinism has instead made the black stripes into golden ones. The result is striking to say the least. For animals with albinism, being in the wild can sometimes be difficult. This is because albinism can also affect their eyes, making it difficult for them to see well. For an animal like a zebra who's sometimes hunted by larger predators, this can't bode well. However, if their territory is a drier desert area, they can blend in even better with the background. This giraffe is located in Kenya at Soisambu Conservancy. Zoe Muller, who works with the Rothschild Giraffe Project, noticed something interesting over the years. The male giraffe appeared to be changing colors. Muller noted, "I first started to see a few white spots appear on the animal's coat back in November 2009, and was puzzled as I'd never seen this before." Over the next years, Muller continued to observe the giraffe in his natural habitat and noticed the white fur continued to spread. Other than the color change, his health has not seemingly been affected at all. Muller has stated that this is the first known case of a giraffe with vitiligo. His special condition makes him one unique giraffe. Male peacocks are arguably some of the most beautiful birds in the world. This particular peacock happens to have vitiligo. Despite his vibrant colors of blue and green being stripped away, somehow this has made him even more beautiful. Half of his feathers are the gorgeous standard colors, while the other half are a stunning perfect white. It almost looks as if an artist has taken a paintbrush across them. A male peacock's feathers are known to attract their female counterparts. This male peacock seems to be getting on just fine.